abroad. And of course, in business tonight, President Tinubu vows to fix Anambra erosion and promises to revive gas plant, reconnect rail. On the continent, Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine to seek presidency for a second time. We do have details of these stories and much more tonight on Afia TV News. Do stay tuned. Today, being the day 3 of the Enugu Tech Fest, maintained its high energy as tech leaders continued to inspire the next generation. Ogochukwu Osai was on ground and she filed in this report.
The day 3 of the Enugu Tech Fest started with an opening remark by Honorable Kichuku Aneke, representing the Speaker, Enugu House of Assembly. He charged the participants, urging them to seize the opportunity that Enugu Tech Fest provides and use it as a springboard to build a better future through innovation and skill development.
So I encourage you to take advantage of this platform. This is a wonderful platform. His Excellency believes in the saying that youth are the future of tomorrow. He has provided the platform for you to take charge of your future. Take charge. Connect with others. Network and be bold to decide your future. So let me not bore you with too many things that I have to say. But I tell you today, may this be inspiring, be productive as we move forward. That because you are here and you are the future, I can now re-echo that the future and the tomorrow is here. Thank you very much. And I now declare this particular program for today on behalf of the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, and I declare it open.
The lineup of guest speakers continued to inspire with thought leaders like Chukwuma from Okenwa, Executive Director of the Leadership, Entrepreneurship and Advocacy Network, delivering a powerful session on the growing role of technology in everyday life.
Technology is the most disruptive phenomenon that has happened to our world. It has not impacted how we learn, live, interact, behave, and relate. Do business. People are getting married online, isn't it? Connected, there are dating platforms, e-commerce platforms. Even those without physical offices, website is actually an online office where people can visit and get to know very much about your brand. Tech supports multi-health or support health multi-dimensionally. You know, it was last year I was in Switzerland because I was fortunate on the JESDA platform, which is the biggest science diplomacy platform in the world. When 30 science diplomats were selected globally, I was the only one from Africa, West Africa, that represented the entire region out of 30 people globally. One of the things that scientists is already exploring, you're already aware of like neural links, like what Elon Musk and his team is trying to do to help the visually impaired. But then I saw there scientists working on how to make the limb to walk. There is really nothing that is impossible with the power of technology.
Participants also received practical guidelines from Daniel Chinagozi, CEO of Innovative Growth Hub, who outlined key foundational steps for anyone looking to build a career in technology.
If you want to build a career in technology, say that Daniel Chinagozi told you to start a course and do what? And do what? Number 2, get a book on that subject matter. Find a book, and not the one that was written in 1984. If you take the book, you check the date it was written. It must be 2015 till date. It must be new. Take a book, start and do what? Number 3, which is the most, I call it the most important one. Find a community on that area. If it's developer, find GDG. If it's designers, find a community on your area of the area you want to build a tech career in. Find a community and be a part of the community. Not just come and be liars, no. Be involved.
In a separate interview, Honorable Kichukwu Aneke further emphasized the governor's agenda for youth empowerment through tech and innovation, encouraging participants to take full advantage of platforms like the Enugu Tech Festival.
It's going to carry almost everybody along. This administration is that's why it's actually here to place that it's a platform. It's actually here for you to take charge. It's actually that future. Because I don't know if they actually say leaders to understand actually exist and make them aware of what you know. Let me tell you what the challenges of Nigeria. It is not what the youth, but that is the idea of the stand the chance of actually addressing what I
The day wrapped up with lively panel sessions, exciting laptop and tablet giveaways, and moments of entertainment that added extra flair to the experience. As the Enugu Tech Festival rounds off, the message is clear. Innovation is the future, and the youth are the center of it. The Tech Fest is set to become a defining platform for tech talent and transformation every year in Enugu State. In Enugu, Ogochukwu Osai reporting for Afia TV.
The Abia State government has announced plans to transform the intended new government house at Oguru Bay layout in Umuahia into a 5-star hotel. This was disclosed on Thursday by the Commissioner for Information, OK Kanu, during a media inspection of the site. Kanu also stated that a new governor's office and official residence will be constructed within the existing government house complex. Addressing public speculation, he dismissed reports that the current government house is rented, clarifying that it is not. He further explained that the building initiated by the previous administration, which was reportedly completed and inaugurated, was never suitable for habitation and was not designed as a residence. President Tinubu has called for national unity while promising to address issues of the exclusion of the Southeast in key national development policies. The president made the call on Thursday while on a state visit to Anambra State, where he commissioned a couple of projects, including the new government house executed by the Anambra State government. Afia TV's deputy correspondent, chief correspondent Emmanuel Wazwe has the details.
Fanfare, solidarity, promises and political concessions characterized President Bola Tinubu's visit to Anambra State. The president, who was in the state at the instance of the state governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, commissioned several projects, including the state's brand new seat of power, the Tower of Light, the monument of Anambra's heroes past, the Emeka Anyaoku Boulevard, the Solution Fun City, which houses the Anambra Country Club, and several others. The ceremony terminated at the Alex Ekweme Square, where the president spoke to the people. But before his speech came the governors, raising vital issues of marginalization against the Southeast region.
We benefit fully from all the federal programs, including programs of education, health, ICT, agriculture, infrastructure, flooding, ecological response, social interventions, etc. Thanks immensely to you, Your Excellency. But to leapfrog the process of our transformation, there are, however, a few critical areas we would need further federal intervention to unlock huge opportunities. Anambra remains possibly the gully erosion capital of the world, with 1/3 of our landmass under persistent threat, and the resource requirements to deal with this are far beyond the capacity of any state government. The Southeast and Anambra
in particular is bypassed by the National Gas Master Plan, despite abundant reserves of natural gas. We are not part of the national rail system. The Onitsha River Port, commissioned by President Shehu Shagari in 1982, remains a proposal, ostensibly because the federal government has been unable to undertake the required dredging. Only Asiwaju Jagaban, the man who tamed the Atlantic, can bring this 43-year-old jinx. So that barges from One and other seaports can easily discharge at Onitsha. It will be a great changer for our people.
In a response, President Tinubu made a firm promise to look at the issues raised by Governor Soludo and called for national unity while assuring that the endemic insecurity ravaging the country would be addressed.
I wish to assure you that the federal government will continue to partner with the state and the Southeast to secure our people and their future. I've taken serious note of various challenges facing the state and your request for assistance and partnership. Anambra, as the Goli erosion capital of the world, we will do everything to make ecological investment that remediates it. Anambra and Southeast have huge gas deposits. That is true. But likely bypassed by the National Gas Master Plan. I assure you that will be rectified. Abandoned federal road project that link Anambra to Kogi, it can become the fastest gateway between Abuja and Anambra South and South-South. I agree. Anambra completely bypassed by the Rail Master Plan. I'm standing before you that this already designed and Ministry of Transportation is aware to include the connection in the master plan and it received attention.
The event brought together several eminent sons and daughters, royal fathers, political friends and associates of the state from across the country in their colorful attires.
I once told Afia TV that the new government house is about 30 buildings. I was grossly underestimating. The last count, the new government house is made up of up to 50 buildings. This will simply tell you that we are talking about a mini city within a city. It's a whole village.
The most important thing I always say, when you run for office, you run on the platform of a political party. Immediately you're elected to an office, you become the president of everybody. So if it's the president, you're the president of the entire country. So irrespective of your party affiliation, all of us are citizens of the country, and the president should represent everybody. So he should represent our shared aspiration and our shared values.
Already he has commissioned the Southeast Development Commission and committing large sums of funds to that commission, which is a very welcome development in Anambra State. So we're happy.
I'm excited. It projects progress and unity, and that's what we stand for. Tinubu is a man of valor. He's a man of principle. He's running the government. He's been in the Enugu State January 4, and today again, May 8, he's in Enugu. That shows some sign. That shows that our governors are trying. The Southeast governors, all of them are building on infrastructure. The Southeast Development Commission is a game changer.
The president returned to Abuja, and with him was the traditional title, Dike Simba, conferred on him by the Anambra State Council of Traditional Rulers.
With the commissioning of several projects done by the Anambra State government, the people are now making their ways home, having listened to both their governor and, of course, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. One of the raised issues was the issue of the non-inclusion of the southeast of Nigeria in the Nigeria Gas Master Plan, which the President has given his word to ensure a recalibration of that particular plan. Of course, it's not just that. The issue of the Eastern Railway was also promised to be addressed. Now, we are looking forward to what happens in the nearest future, whether or not the President will walk the talk by ensuring that the southeast of Nigeria is included in the Rail Line Master Plan and, of course, the Nigerian Gas Master Plan, which the southeast of Nigeria was, completely removed. So we are looking forward to that. And until that, as the people now make their ways home, we from Afia TV must also make our way home. And from the Alese Kweme Square in Oka, Anambra State capital, my name is Emmanuel Wazwe, reporting for Afia TV.
The Vice President Kashim Shettima arrived at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri, Imo State on Friday to flag off the inaugural flight of Nigerian pilgrims for the 2025 Hajj. He was welcomed by Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, the Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, Professor Abdullahi Usman, and other senior officials. This occasion marks the first ever international flight from the Imo Airport, with 315 pilgrims from Imo, Abia, and Bayelsa states scheduled to depart for Saudi Arabia aboard an Air Peace flight. A total of approximately 43,000 Nigerian pilgrims from across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory are expected to travel to Saudi Arabia for this year's Hajj. NACON Chairman Professor Usman affirmed the Commission's preparedness for a smooth 2025 Hajj operation and encouraged stakeholders to work together to ensure quality service delivery. Similarly, NACON's Commissioner of Operations, Alhaji Anofi Elekushi, emphasized the agency's continued commitment to improving its services. And now we go over to our national stories, where the federal government is working on plans to safely and respectfully repatriate 15,000 Nigerians stranded in countries like Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. Head of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, Alhaji Tijani Ahmed, disclosed that over 6 million people are displaced within Nigeria, with thousands more abroad. He also announced that Nigeria will host a key migration meeting under its leadership of the Rabat process on May 13 to 14, focusing on youth, innovation, and education to enhance migration governance. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has announced the official release of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Examination Matriculation Examination results, and according to the board, the results of 39,834 candidates were being withheld due to suspected examination malpractices. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede disclosed this during the official release of the 2025 UTME results in Abuja on Friday. The examination body also revealed that 80 individuals were currently under investigation for examination-related offenses, with Anambra State recording the highest number of suspects with 14 in total. The registrar noted that 467 underage candidates scored above the minimum benchmark, while 50 others were found to be involved in examination fraud.
113 candidates registered for the trial tests, out of which 116,518 candidates sat the examination and their results promptly released.
the 2025 examination, the UTME. As you are aware, a total of 2,030,862 candidates registered for the 2025 UTME, which was conducted across 882 CBT centers, each of which was generally monitored by 10 invigilators of different categories. In all, over 10,000 officials were involved in conducting, monitoring, and managing the exercise. Without any equivocation, this year's exercise will be remembered as the most successful in recent times. Released results. Out of the total number of 2,030,862 candidates registered for 2025 UTME, 1,957,000 was successfully verified for the examination. 71,705 were absent, and a total of 2,157 candidates' fingerprints were rejected by the machines as invalid. This failure was beyond the acceptable normal margin of failure. We interrogated it because it was abnormal. Subsequent discoveries in this regard indicated that a number of the candidates whose fingers were unrecognized had one question of registration infraction or another to answer.
Although they stated that the seizure of results was due to suspected examination malpractices, and also disclosed that about 80 individuals have been probed for exam-related offenses, with Anambra State having the highest number of suspects. And we go over now to our business segment, where President Tinubu, during his visit to Awka, pledged to address key developmental issues facing Anambra State and the Southeast region. These include tackling erosion, utilizing underused gas reserves, and rectifying Anambra's exclusion from the National Rail Master Plan, and ensured the people of Anambra that the federal government would improve road infrastructure, support ecological projects to address erosion, and resolve the state's omission from the National Gas Master Plan. Tinubu also praised the state government's efforts in enhancing security and reiterated federal support for peace and stability in the region. He responded to Governor Chukwuma Soludo's concerns about abandoned federal road projects, highlighting the need to complete vital road links to improve connectivity with Kogi, the South-South, and Abuja. And we go over now to the continent, where Ugandan opposition figure and musician Bobi Wine announced on Friday his intention to run for president again, while criticizing Western nations for their silence on what he described as severe human rights abuses in Uganda. Wine, whose real name is Robert Kyangulanyi and is 43 years old, would once again challenge President Yoweri Museveni, 80, who's widely anticipated to seek another term in office. He described his participation in the upcoming election as a chance to further expose the government's actions and mobilize Ugandans to push for their freedom. In the 2021 election, Wine finished second but rejected the results, citing widespread electoral fraud, including ballot stuffing, vote tampering, and violence by security forces, claims that were denied by the government and electoral authorities. And now on the foreign news, Ukraine and Hungary announced on Friday that they are each expelling 2 diplomats amid mutual accusations of espionage. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha shared the decision on social media following claims by Ukraine's SBU security agency that it had uncovered a Hungarian-run spy network seeking military intelligence. In response, Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó dismissed the allegations as Ukrainian propaganda and issued a reciprocal expulsion. The SBU reported detaining 2 alleged operatives linked to Hungarian military intelligence, marking what it called the first discovery of a Hungarian espionage network targeting Ukraine. And now we go into sports, where the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, has announced that Nigeria will not participate in the 2025 World Relays in Guangzhou, China, due to complications with the visa process. In a statement shared on its Facebook page on Friday, The federation said that although visa applications began in February, Nigerian athletes faced numerous challenges that ultimately made attendance impossible. The AFN attributed the withdrawal to delays by Chinese authorities in issuing visas and cited significant consequences, including wasted training efforts, financial losses, missed qualification chances, and emotional tolls on the athletes. The federation also accused Chinese officials of causing setbacks through errors in invitation letters and imposing excessive requirements. And finally, in sports, Rangers technical advisor Fidelis Ilechukwu has extended his contract with the club by 1 year, keeping him in charge until the end of the 2025/2026 season. The 46-year-old led the Flying Antelopes to their 8th Nigeria Premier Football League title last season, though they were dethroned by Remo Stars this season. Despite that, Rangers still have a shot at silverware as they've reached the semi-finals of the President Federation Cup, where they'll face Kwara United at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena next Wednesday. Ilechukwu previously coached MFM FC, Heartland and Plateau United. Up next is our conversation segment where we'll speak with our guest from the Moravia state of Russia on the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the Victory Day on World War II tonight. Do stay tuned.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Africa TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast size. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and...
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along. I did sing. For real. You're not a backup singer. That's what they do.
Opinion of the people matters.
Everything to your Lego.
Oh, nobody wants to hear your voice if you don't have the money.
This is Obwe.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Africa TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Hello, you're welcome back to Afia TV News. Tonight on our conversation segment centered around commemorating Victory Day in Russia and the 80th anniversary of World War II. Well, on May 9, 1945, the Soviet Union celebrated Victory Day, marking the official end of World War II in Europe. And this date commemorates the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany to the Allied forces, a momentous event that concluded nearly 6 years of devastating conflict on the European continent. The surrender was first signed on May 7, 1945 in Reims, France by German General Alfred Jody. However, the Soviet Union insisted on a second, more formal ceremony to be held in Berlin. This subsequent signing took place late on May 8, 1945, but due to the time zone differences, it was already the early hours of May 9 in Moscow. Russian President Vladimir Putin today took center stage at Russia's Victory Day parade on Friday, surrounding himself by friendly world leaders in a highly choreographed show designed to show the Western world that Russia is far from isolated. Watching as thousands of troops marched across Moscow's Red Square, Putin stood next to his guest of honor, the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The annual May 9 commemoration of the Soviet Union victory over Nazi Germany in World War II is one of the most important days in Putin's calendar, and this year marks its 80th anniversary. Well, joining me now is Galina Alexandrovna Kosheva, and she's the director of the Scientific Research Institute of Humanities under the government of the Republic of Moldova. Good evening, Galina, and welcome to the show tonight here in Nigeria. Welcome.
Good evening.
It's good to have you. All right, so do tell us a bit of what Victory Day means to every Russian and, of course, the entire Russian Federation.
Victory Day is a big holiday in Russia and countries of the former Soviet Union. This is a day when the most terrible war in the history of mankind come to the end. The Great Patriotic War left an eternal mark in the life of each family, and it touched millions of peoples. The victory prize was enormous. Millions of killed at the front line died of hunger at home, tortured to death in death camps jump a part of the cruel war statistic. Each family in the Soviet Union lost someone from their close people, and his pain is still alive in people's hearts. Therefore, Victory Day is not just a holiday, it's a day of sadness and mourn about these who sacrificed their lives for freedom, independence, and peaceful sky.
All right. So today I saw some clips of video that, of course, of the celebration, around the Red Square, and of course it was very beautiful to see all of those parade there. But I'd like to know how was the celebration in the Republic of Moldova, and also you do tell us about the creation of the Soske Memorial event in Moldova, which of course is Saransk as well. Go ahead and tell us.
Moldova made a great contribution to the victory in the Great Patriotic War. More than 240,000 residents of Moldova went to the front. Half of them died. Victory Day is our region is always celebrated greatly. A Victory Day parades dedicated to the 80th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War was held in Saransk today. The parades begin with wreath-line ceremony at the Motherland Monument. A procession of military units, school students, and students of various education institutes of Saransk took place on the main city square. The youth went with portraits of their relatives who participated in the Great Patriotic War. There are festival events and concerts all day long. Every can try to soldiers' porridge. There was fireworks in the evening. Victory in this terrible war become possible thanks to the people who work in their area. Most recently, on April 29, the Surski Frontier Memorial was opened in our republic. The memorial is dedicated to the civilians of Moldova who in harsh winter of 1941 and 1942 spared no efforts. Snowing fortitude managed to equip the line of Surski line of defense in 45 days. Fortifications were built so that the enemy would not pass to the Ural and Siberia, where defense events were operated. In total, it was planned to mobilize about 70,000 people for the construction for special fortificates. The sculpture were provided with photographs of real builders. On their basis, in images embodied in the sculpture composition were created. For example, the image of the elder man in the central sculpture is based on the fate of several participants in the construction. The life story of one man is interesting. He was mobilized to the Sura frontier in January 1941 to work as a carpenter. The man was a deeply religious person. He sang in the church. Belief helped the construction participants to withstand the stress of hard work.
All right then. So, of course, with the opening of the memorial at Mordovia, how do you think that this will positively influence your republic?
The enemy, fortunately, did not reach Mordovia, but the inhabitants of the republic poked a victory in the rear. In every family, at least one of the relatives participate in the construction of fortifications. This heroic act should not be forgotten. Many of our countrymen from different regions of the country will come to the Republic to worship the memory of their ancestors. But the most important thing is for the younger generation to remember the heroic deeds and our people during the Great Patriotic War. They keep in mind that they are the heirs of the winners, and they are proud of the victory.
All right. So, of course, let's talk about, more than ever before, the world yearns for peace. Now, do you think that today's event will bring an end to fascism in the world?
The lessons of the past must not be forgotten in order to prevent a repeat of national griefs of the present. The history of the Great Patriotic War is the history of every Russian family. The war changed the life of many generations. Our youth will watch parades and war films, sing war songs, be proud of their ancestors, and wish those terrible years would never happen again. Remember to prevent.
Thank you so much for your time tonight. And just before we go, would you want to add any other thing to what you've just said? Do you have any more?
Thank you very much for invitation.
Thank you so much, Galina Alexandrova Kusheva, and of course, who's the Director of Research Institutes in the government under the Mordovia Republic. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Happy Victory
Thank you.
Day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And just before we go, Maintenance is planned to turn new government house into a 5-star hotel. In Abuja, federal government to repatriate 15,000 Nigerians stranded abroad. And of course, our business segment tonight, President Tinubu vows to fix Anambra erosion, promises to revive gas plant and reconnect rail. on the continent, Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine to seek presidency for a second time. That's all we have tonight for you on Afia TV News, and do follow